Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now.
Thanks for roadtoroota.com. It is happening. It is happening. It's the end of the world as we know it. I have started a private road series on the endgame collapse as pertains to Road to Roota theory. That there are people, the good guys behind the scenes, going to take it all down. There's no other reason for Trump to play this crazy tariff game. Of course, he's right, but that's how the system works. They pretend they love the U.S. dollar, and they get to, charge us tariffs coming into their country. We have the power because they give us the power. Other countries allow this insane system to happen. And if Trump is going to pull the plug on tariffs, they're going to pull the plug on the dollar. That's how the game goes, and Trump knows it, and that's the bigger plan. Anyway, I posted the latest private road discussion called JP Morgan's Role, Deep State Pedos, and Silver Linings. Go check that out on the private road at roadtoroota.com. So Trump announced tariffs. They're all over the board, truthfully. They're about almost half for every country. The reality is, if a country hates Trump, they're going to retaliate. Most will. Otherwise, remember, this is politicians responding to Trump. Every politician in the world is required to fight back hard with Trump. So this will start a crazy war that Trump knows will escalate and ultimately end in the destruction of the unbacked fiat monetary system, the banking cabal. So Wall Street reels from shock of Trump tariffs. What shock? I mean, he's said it from day one. But anyway, yeah. No bank can survive this. No derivative complex can survive this. It's the whole idea. We were very weak to start with, but this is the little icing on the cake. Immense consequences. The EU warns of countermeasures as world leaders respond to tariffs. Of course they're going to counter. And then Trump will counter. And it'll get worse and worse and worse. And the banks will be going, oh my God, don't mess with my $3 quadrillion derivative market, because that's the only thing holding the system together. European Union will unveil countermeasures to U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs with negotiations with the White House stall. This is the end game, people. This is the end game. EU is probably the weakest of the big powerhouses. They'll just poof, disappear instantly. So what's happening to the U.S. dollar? Crashing. The dollar spot index. But remember, the dollar, the only thing the dollar is based off, the what do they call it? The performance of the dollar is 100% based off derivatives of the dollar, just like every other market. And what is the dollar index based off? It's other fiat currencies. So we know that the dollar is being created out of thin air in computers at the DOJ and FBI. Probably, I bet you Trump has a little computer in back that does, I need to pay a bill. Go over there and type out a check for someone. Type out a wire transfer. The money doesn't come from anywhere, but that's the whole thing. Create money to infinity. That's part of the Road to Roota documents that came out of the Fed that I studied. I didn't know how important it was what Roota was writing in the sand in the 1981, which is a Rainbows document out of the Fed, Boston. But it was a formula called On the Road to the Golden Age. I did find that out. I didn't fully understand print money to infinity, because that's the conclusion of that economic theory from the 1960s. You want to go back to a gold standard, you print money to infinity. That's exactly. And I kept thinking, well, how can they do that? I mean, we're 36 trillion in debt. We're going to keep going in debt, 100 trillion, 200 trillion. Still doesn't equal infinity. How is Roota going to get us from here to there? The only way to destroy the system, the unbacked fiat system, is to print money to infinity, according to the Road to Roota documents and this economic formula called On the Road to the Golden Age in the 1960s. Well, now we know there's computers at every division of the United States government. And I guarantee you around the world, every government is doing the same thing, that pays bills from nothing. I need $10 billion for this project. The computer wires them the money. Where'd it come from? Nowhere. It came from nowhere. It gets wired there. They put it in the bank. The banks create $100 billion. That's infinity money, my friends. And now we know. Now we know why Roota wrote that in the sand. In 1981, in the Road to Roota documents, you can go to roadtoroota.com. And if you go to the very first, you go to the public page, first listen to the discussion with David X22 report, but listen to these two videos. This describes what it was that the Fed released originally in 1981, and then they redid it in 2007. They are screaming, this game's almost over. Then my job has been, since 2007, to figure out how this is happening. How is it all happening? Where's the best place to put your assets? Number one, silver. Number two, the good cryptos. Silver's for the short term. Silver is going to kill the bankers, if not everything else. But ultimately, every country on the planet knows that silver is the bank killer, is the United States government killer. The global unbacked fiat monetary system killer. That is why silver is currently priced at $32, which is 64% of its 1980 all-time high. Yes, they can click a mouse and put the price of silver at minus $40 because it's a fake price. It's futures and options traded by a handful of banks, and I'll show you where these banks are. Right, I think I printed this out in the Commitment of Traders report. Now, I'll guarantee you, and this is a guarantee, that this current silver slam, it was premeditated, but it wasn't set up really well. They didn't go massively short coming into the slam. They're short. The bankers are short. They're short, what is it? The top four about 300 million ounces, and the top eight about, let's see. I'm sorry. Hold on. So we got, let's just add it up right here. They're short. The top four are short 36%. 169 times 0.36 equals, and then times 5,000 a contract. 304 million ounces. That's the short of the top four. That's high, but it's not a good setup for a big slam. And all we have to do is watch the Commitment of Traders report to understand exactly what's about to happen. Now, the top eight are, let's see, 169 times. The top eight are about 430 or so million ounces short. This is 8 traders. It's just the insanity that the whole entire globe, the whole planet with 7-8 billion people on it, believes this one ridiculous exchange where the top 8 traders hold over half the short contracts. So less than 8 people, and there's one head trader at each desk. Less than 8 people are deciding the global price of silver. It is insane. And it's really the top 4. And it's really done with a computer program run by Virtu Financial, a guy named Vinny Viola. It's just, the whole thing is ridiculous. But we have to live by those rules because why? Because we always have? Well, that's ending now. The rest of the world is saying, no, we're not going to go for it anymore. Trump knew this was going to happen. If they dump dollars, if they don't dump dollars, it doesn't matter. It's on the same computer program. Alan Greenspan invented the electronic banking system in the early 1970s. He blames himself for Y2K, but he also invented computer market rigging. He did very well when he did it for himself at Townsend Greenspan. They were kicking out money, going out of style. And then he went to the government. They said, what are you doing, Alan Greenspan? Come help us. Help the United States. Help your country. He said, there's nothing we can do except go on to a gold standard. Go back to the gold standard. And the government said, well, before we get there, what do we do? And Greenspan said, hey, there's an economic formula called On the Road to the Golden Age. And what does it say? If you want to go back to a gold standard, you print as much money as possible, soaking up all the benefits. Build your roads, your bridges, your houses, your military. Build it all. Build. Stop mining your own stuff. Put them in national parks and all that shit. It seems so obvious to me now. Of course, I've been doing it for almost 20 years now. But I wish I knew everything I know now about the road to Roota theory and how right it was in the beginning. The very first, it's a freaking comic book. How the hell did I get all this shit from a comic book? Well, it came from the Fed Boston. A guy named Stephen DeVoe was the adapter who was military intelligence and worked for the Fed Boston. And oh, by the way, was a computer genius. It all gets back to the computers. Anyway, the trading room in the basement of the U.S. Treasury, clicked a mouse and the dollar went down. Doesn't mean anything. It's all for show. But now what's going to happen? The Fed rate cut odds jump in May as tariff recession worries. Of course the Fed's going to print. That's all they can do. That's the only tool in their book. Print as much as possible. Can we get out of this one? I don't think so. This is global. This is every country on the planet is going to retaliate. And there's a reason that Russia said, we're going to start buying silver. That's all it takes. You buy out silver. You take out the silver banking cabal, who are listed right here, the 4 traders, right in here. JP Morgan, obviously. HSBC, obviously. Bank of America, obviously. Who the fourth one is, I don't know. Probably JP Morgan customer, like BlackRock, obviously. BlackRock is a massive player in silver shorts. Massive. Through JP Morgan customer. Guy named Evie Hambro runs the program over there. And it's deep state all the way. Of course it is. Anyway, so what do you do? What do you do, Bix? What do I do? Silver's crashing. Silver's not crashing. It's $32. When it gets below this, India buys. Look, it's just gunning for the moving averages right there. How many times have we seen this? Cross your fingers. It goes under the moving averages because India, China, and Russia are going to buy the shit out of physical silver. Real stuff in your own account. Bring it home. Bring it home, baby. This is the end game. What can you do? Go get physical from your local coin shop. Take your cryptos, stick them in the closet. Stake them if you can, because they're going to be very useful in the future. We won't know the price between when this all starts falling apart. When one of these big banks, probably HSBC or JP Morgan, will be the first big bank to go. Everything stops. Everything's going to stop for a while. So, are you going to know what your cryptos are worth? No. Are you going to know what silver is worth? No. How could you? There'll be no exchanges open. The banks go, everything goes. Warren Buffett called the weapon of mass financial destruction. That's exactly where we are. All you have to do is ride it out. Don't think about profits. You should be thinking about, shit, what am I going to do to protect my silver? Do I have guns? Do I have food? Might need food for a couple weeks. Now, the United States of America, I think, will be better off than many countries, other than like Bolivia and in countries that, the cities will suck, but a lot of people live without this current system. A lot of people live on farms and subsistence living. That used to be true in the United States when we had all the banking failures in the early 1900s. That's not true now. What are these people in the cities going to do? What are all the leftist liberals going to do? Oh, it's Trump's fault. And in one way it is. It's Trump's fault for saving the country by destroying the old system. Anyway, that's what's going on. I got Jenny Moonstone. We have a huge discussion today. That'll be posted on the private road. And part two of the analysis of what we're going through will be on the private road also. But make sure you go to roadtoroota.com. Listen to my latest discussion with David X22 report. It'll give you kind of my overall take. If you want more stuff, join the private road at roadtoroota.com. Bix Weir, I'll talk to you later.
Here's a true story about a man just like you. He worked his whole life, he was honest and true. Built up a nest egg the way they said to. Invest in the market, money works for you. And everything is fine, picking the winners every time. Started to believe he can make dollars out of dime. Little did he know he's being primed for a fall. The riggers let you play, then the riggers steal the ball. We want free markets, not a million phantom trades. Lest everyone's honest, we're gonna lose what we made. We got to shut down exchanges, trade one for one. We want free markets, well, our work's just begun. Free markets are the road to freedom. Capitalism, not as bad as they say. The world has never tried it, rigging markets every day. Socialists fail every time in every way. We need a better system to forge a better day. We want free markets, not a million phantom trades. Lest everyone's honest, we're gonna lose what we made. We gotta shut down exchanges till they trade one for one. We want free markets, our work's just begun. Free markets are the road to freedom. I said free markets are the road to freedom. Crypto solution, if only done right. We can take out the liars, bring dark into light, and trust in the math, not the people who lie. I think we can make it if we give it a try. We want free markets, not a million phantom trades. Lest everyone's honest, we're gonna lose what we made. We gotta shut down exchanges till they trade one for one. We want free markets, our work's just begun. 'Cause free markets are the road to freedom. I said free markets are the road to freedom. Free markets are the road to freedom.